It has pockets? No, it is pockets. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been working on crafting an 18th century Outlander inspired outfit to wear on my 30th birthday camping trip. So far we've completed the shift and the petticoat, and today we're making a few finishing touches, which include pockets and a stomacher. The rest of the outfit has been made using the 8161 Simplicity pattern, and the stomacher project today is as well, but the pockets, we're just winging it, based on a Victoria and Albert Museum article. If you enjoy vaguely historical sewing, make sure to check out the videos I made for the shift and the petticoat. I'll link them above. And if you're interested in seeing the entire ensemble together, next week I will be doing the final piece of the puzzle, the bodice, and then debuting it in the wilderness. So I hope you'll subscribe and join me for the grand reveal next week. And if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to give them a like. Alright, well, enough with me, let's get into it. My grand plan is to try some machine embroidery. I'm thinking maybe I'll embroider down here and in these places kind of in between where the boning will go. I'm going to start with embroidering one piece on its own, and then I will stitch them together, turn, sew the boning channels, insert the boning, sew on the top. I'm going to put in the marks for the boning channels. So I'm testing out different patterns, and I was having trouble going through one layer, so I've added some excess pieces of pattern to the back, and that's working really well. I'm gonna go with this pattern. It wouldn't be sewing if you didn't come and jump on the project for at least a second. I'm back to my trusty work table, aka my team bed crafting table, and it's time to put in the zip tie boning and cut it down to size. Back to boning. Love this structure. That was my best Paul Hollywood impression. Maybe make a little mark. And I have two options for smoothing it down: the simply nailogical way and the more effective way. Earlier when I was trying to machine stitch the top, it got really garbled here when I was just trying to stitch through one layer of fabric. So what I did was put this sort of pattern material, the offcuts of that, behind there and stitch through it, and it made the stitches work absolutely beautifully. And then I ripped the majority of it out. They're still a little bit stuck underneath the leaves. Just makes it a little crackly, a little ASMR. Added some little hand-stitched flowers just to make it a teeny bit more 18th century. Adding a little handwork in there. Ow! Ouchie! Got the top of the stomacher pinned up and ready to do some finishing stitches. Someone's waiting in the wings to sit on this project as soon as possible. Finished the stomacher last night. I put in 4 pieces of boning and boning channels. So I sewed along one line that I had drawn, and then I inserted the boning and used a zipper foot to sew really tightly along the piece of boning to make sure the channel is snug, because the ones in my bodice are a little bit loosey-goosey because I had just sewed them based on the lines I'd drawn, which were too wide. So I did that for all 4, and then I did the ladder stitch along here to create an invisible seam up at the top and finish the whole thing off. It looks so pretty. So you can have a fancy side and a plain side. I didn't have a pattern for the pockets, but I read an article from the Victoria and Albert Museum that gave me some basic steps, and I also found a rough outline on Pinterest. And those instructions said to make the pocket about 14 inches tall, with a 9-inch slit in the middle that goes from the top to the center of the pocket, and the width should also be 9 inches at the widest point at the bottom. I didn't have exact dimensions for the top, so I made it about 1.5 inches less wide overall. These would be the approximate dimensions. If you're making 2 pockets, you'll want to cut out 2 pieces that include the slit for the fronts and 2 pieces without the slit for the back. I'm making my own bias tape. It's about 1 inch wide. It was already folded in half, so I cut it to be 2 inches, so that's 4 inches total, and then I'm folding it in half, so it will be 2 sides that are each 1 inch, and this will be what I tie around the waist and sew the pockets into. And now I am pinning and pressing the seams as one is wont to do. I'm gonna fold the ends in and press that down so they'll be all nice and finished. Made some 1/2 inch bias tape and placed it along the openings, and I'm gonna use a decorative top stitch along there just to reinforce it and finish that edge. I'm going to do a French knot. You wrap 3 or 4 times around and then go directly through it. Now that the embroidery is done, the next step is to pin the front to the back and then sew it up along the edges. On the first one, I stitched all the way around to close up the top. On the second one, I'm going to leave it open so that cord can go through it. So that one pocket will be fixed and one will be movable. Pocket gets to go through right there. This is our more experimental pocket. It's the ugly one. I have kind of measured the placement so that this falls on my hip about where my hand would go in, and I have pinned it in place into the bias tape. And this is our sliding pocket, which can't slide right now because of the pins. That seems to be working pretty well. I'll probably add a little bit of a channel here to make sure that it stays flatter and has a bit more support, but I think the concept works. Not historically accurate in any capacity. We're doing some experimental archaeology. I just want to be Ruth Goodman, okay? I'm gonna run this through the sewing machine. We're gonna sew the bias tape and the one pocket in. Pocket. So excited. I'm gonna use the zipper foot to sew along the strap. In theory, hopefully it doesn't sew through. Now we got the sliding pocket and the situating pocket. Gotta give it a press and clean it up, but we have pockets. Pockets, 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 pockets. I am legit just gonna wear these around the house so that I stop dropping my phone into the cat's water bowl. I'm so excited, you cannot even believe. So in closing, if you've learned anything from this video, I hope it's pockets. Pockets, pockets. Pockets are the best, and the fact that in the 18th century they made pockets that you can put on for any outfit, a glorious double side fanny pack. Hip pack? Dual hip pack. Anyways, this was a genius idea. We need to bring it back. If 2020 is going to be good for anything, it's going to be good for the comeback of external pockets. Extant external pockets. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you are raring to make your own pockets so we can redeem 2020 with pockets full of justice and equity. Because let's be honest, the rest of this year has been a real dumpster fire. And shout out to the Dumpster Fire Pockets by So Steam. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you'll come back next week for the bodice and the adventure. Later. It is pockets. It is pockets. It is pockets. Oh, Moira. What's become of you? In the color and shape, this looks a teeny bit obscene.